You can even do the manual correction
of the National Assembly members from Benue State, and of course some politicians from Benue State.
I gave him.
You recall that
Corrected.
only recently the governor of Benue State accused members of the National Assembly from Benue State of being the mastermind of the killings in Benue State, that the members of the National Assembly from Benue State were accommodating and providing food and feeding these herdsmen attackers, and the allegation extended to imaginary politicians also in Abuja from Benue State. And so today, we members of the National Assembly from Benue State have held a meeting to review all that the governor had said in that live television, and to characterize these as the many lies of Governor Gov Alia of Benue State. And so the Benue State caucus of the National Assembly saw with consternation Governor Alia's umbrage on the National Assembly members from Benue State on the security challenges confronting the state. Ordinarily, we had dismissed the rantings of the governor as true to character of a failed governor. In the past, Governor Alia had characterized Benue National Assembly members as Bokoti people, which literally translates to useless people. When the National Assembly members raised serious concerns about the incapacity of the governor to frontally confront insecurity in Benue State that had rendered several Benue indigents dead, injured many, destroyed properties worth millions of naira, and disabled the people from farming and engaging in productive businesses. When Senators Emmanuel Udende and Abamoro raised motions on the insecurity in Benue State, Governor Alia asserted that they were misleading the Senate and Nigerians on the security situation in Benue State. Similarly, the governor has blatantly refused to implement the open grazing prohibition law enacted by the Benue State House of Assembly, even when the Senate's resolution to a bill sponsored by Titus Zam directed him to implement the open grazing prohibition law of Benue State. Unfortunately, in a church service in Bayongo, Benue State, earlier this year, Governor Alia stated that there had been no killings in Benue State since he assumed office as governor in May 2023. When some citizens were killed in Bonta, in Konsisha LGA, and Opute in Oju LGA, Governor Alia characterized the happenings as mere skirmishes. Yet, Governor Alia, in one of his irresponsible outings on national television, uncharitably accused members of the National Assembly from Benue State as sponsors and masterminds of the killings in Benue State. Never in the history of Benue State has a governor been known to speak from both sides of his mouth on issues, especially that concern the lives and property of the Benue people. In one breath, Governor Alia would allege that attacks against Benue communities are about land grabbing by the invaders. In another, the governor will defend the attackers as foreigners protected by ECOWAS protocols to traverse ECOWAS member nations freely. Members of the caucus of the National Assembly from Benue State, therefore, unequivocally and without any fear of contradiction, deny the allegation that they are sponsoring Fulani militia to attack and kill Benue people. Collectively and or individually, members of the National Assembly have contributed immensely to the solution of the current situation and challenges bedeviling current security situation and the challenges bedeviling Benue State. No week passes by that members are not in their constituencies to bury and or commiserate with their constituents who have lost their lives or loved ones, while the governor continues to stay in the comfort of Government House Makurdi until recently. Not a whimper of condemnation of the perpetrators of these heinous crimes had come from the governor. The governor has not sufficiently demonstrated empathy for people killed allegedly by armed herdsmen. In some instances, as in the incident in Utupo, the governor would rather condemn youths protesting the killing of their kith and kin than those responsible for the killing, and sustained attacks on the armless and defenseless citizens of Benue State. In a characteristic demonstration of irresponsibility and show of lack of understanding of governance, and for the first time in the history of Nigeria, a governor in the full glare of national television would accuse his people of killing their own people. What a sad and pathetic show of politics taken too far. What a shame that a governor will call his own members of the National Assembly from his state as members of shenanigans, with whatever that means. In other states with similar experiences like Borno and Plateau states, governors will acknowledge the plight of their people and appeal to the federal government for intervention, but not in alias Benue State, apparently buttressing the allegation that Gov Alia was compromised in the run-up to the 2023 election. In consequence of the above, the caucus of the National Assembly demands as follows: that the governor should retract his words and apologize publicly to members of the Benue State caucus of the National Assembly and Abuja politicians; that the Inspector General of Police should, as a matter of urgency, investigate members of the caucus of the National Assembly and report to the Benue and the Nigerian people; and 3, urge the governor, as a matter of urgency, to settle down for real governance, stop the blame games, and to also stop moving with non-state actors to intimidate political opponents. Thank you, gentlemen of the press, for listening to us.
I represent Benue Northeast. To answer your question, when the killings became intense on Easter Day, the governor caused the Doma people to meet under the auspices of Ujidoma, and caused the Tea people to meet under the auspices of the Tea Traditional Council. This meeting took place and made far-reaching decisions, one of which was to implement the anti-open grazing law. Today is more than 1 month. He has not done anything about it. So it is not only going on television, but we have made several forums. I will give you an example. The governor won election. He campaigned particularly in Sankara area. There are 3 local governments that comprise Sankara. He campaigned on grounds of insecurity. The people gave him votes overwhelmingly. He promised them that within 100 days of coming to office, he will guarantee security for them. So when he was sworn in on the 29th of May, and nothing was happening, I tried by all means to see him. I couldn't get an opportunity until on the first day of October 2023. I met him. I reminded him of his promise to my people. He asked me for solutions which I recommended to him. Nothing happened. By 7th of January, we met at a funeral, the burial of the Kasinala, a royal second-class royal chief. At that burial, Chairman Ukum local government was kidnapped. He then saddled me to meet with the stakeholders of Sankara and bring out a blueprint as to how he will cope these security challenges in Sankara. Luckily for me, all the stakeholders, the retired generals, and the other people, all of them were there. Like General Malu, you can find out from him if I'm lying. General Miyam, all of them, among other generals, were all there. The serving ones, I don't want to mention their name. We met in Government House on the 8th. On the 8th, that was 8th, was a Sunday of that January. And we made a blueprint. We gave him a good resolutions to tackle the situations in Sankara. Nothing has happened to that resolution till today. In fact, the following day when we went to give him the blueprint, we stayed for 5 hours without seeing him. On the 30th of July, 2024, there was a meeting between the governor, myself, and the Catholic Church. The bishop was in attendance. He mandated the bishop of Katsina Diocese to look into this matter and bring out solutions. The man has made a report of his findings to him. Long time. Nothing has happened. This clearly demonstrates that he's not interested.
Also, all the efforts made to get the Benue situation, but the governor's attitude does not speak to his preparedness to sort out this issue. So I don't know what you meant by saying how we have made at the front. We have done everything we should do. All that we are getting from him is resistance, uncooperative attitude, name calling. That is why we even have to call this press conference to refute the allegation that he has leveled against us.